Alright, we are back for the second part of Act 15. And in hindsight, I should have probably put Laguna Seca either as round 1 or the final round, because Laguna Seca in California is basically the home track for more or less every character here. Because I'm pretty sure every single one of these shows was either, in some cases, designed by a person who went to school in California, like the Powerpuff Girls, and Dexter, he went to Cal Arts, or was probably made and animated in a studio in somewhere in California, because I'm pretty sure every single one of these networks has their headquarters in California, because what part of media isn't in California, you know? And then we even have some cases like Blossom and Buttercup's voice actors live or were born in California. Only Long Beach are in this game, then Buttercup would really have a home track. Because I think, well, one of the two was born in Long Beach, and Long Beach does have a racetrack, which is built right into the city. I'm pretty sure it is actually Buttercup's actress. I don't remember. I think Blossom was like Sacramento or Burbank, or one of the two, or something like that. I could look it up, but I can't be bothered. Porsche Intelligent Performance. Yeah, that's why you lost to Toyota in 2016 when this car was made. Oh, that's a front row. The two slowest cars get the front row. There's a very classic set of sports cars follow Phineas around the track at basically a crawl. And Buttercup already has made the breakaway move from both Jimmy and Phineas. Blossom is once again having a problem staying anywhere in the points, as Dexter, I think, is actually about to pass her for 10th. I think. Yeah, it looks like it. So either Blossom's had the poor AI every single round, or this car is really not that good. It might be the driver. I really don't know. SpongeBob is past Phineas, but I think Isabella is going to have a hard time doing that, just out of the principle of the character. It's gotta be the AI, because the driver, or the car, the Boxster and the Cayman, I even looked, wow, okay, Blossom. You really don't like being passed, do you? But, the Cayman and the Boxster that Blossom and Bubbles are driving are literally the exact same car, except for one has a roof, and the other one does not. Other than that, they are in physically the same car. So unless somehow having a top on your car makes you incredibly faster than the other one, which that's not how it works, then it's really just Blossom being incompetent. Which, that's usually Bubbles, so I don't know why that's the case, but that seems to kind of be the only way. Vanellope getting a little feisty. Well, the brunettes in this race have a lot of attitude, so that something like that doesn't really shock me that it's happening. And on the outside, Bubbles keeps 9th place. Then again, seeing how the field are kind of pulling away from this car, maybe it's the car, right? I wouldn't think it is, because it weighs exactly the same and has the same amount of power as the box here Bubbles is in, yet Bubbles is right in there in the group and Blossom is losing it. Well, SpongeBob, you have a lot of work to do. You got like 8 seconds to catch on Buttercup up here, and I think Buttercup's also in a better car than you, so good luck with that. Keyword is I think, anyway. I don't actually know if the Corvette's flat out better than the GTO. Jimmy takes an exceptionally strange line. It's funny because it wouldn't be totally impossible for Phineas to score, like, 1 point. I don't think it's very likely, but it's not impossible, technically. I'm gonna go ahead and say SpongeBob does not have what it takes here. Oh yeah, those lap times say it all. SpongeBob is not prepared. Well, Jimmy should score at least like 1 or 2 points. I don't think Phineas will, though. Unless they really have a hard time passing Phineas. Also, somehow just now occurred to me that there are literally 2 characters here and who are voiced by the same person. And, I don't know, I feel like that would make some sort of paradox by that statement, but maybe that's me. It's basically the same person here twice, it just sounds slightly different. And act, well, very different. Well, unless Phineas really falls fast, I don't think Bubbles is scoring in this round. Alright, Blossom? I thought it was supposed to be the other way around, but okay. I thought Ralph was the one who was supposed to wreck it, not you. Must have gotten confused when you read the contract or something. Phineas is actually being a massive pain in the butt right now. And Stitch has no cares for it whatsoever. But I think the other three behind you just might. No, Timmy doesn't. He'll just pull right up alongside you here. And with all the handling that he's got, yeah, that shouldn't have been hard, but I guess it is. Now we've really got some chaos here. It's too many cars going into one turn at once. Someone's going to hit someone. Phineas freaks the hell out. Because basically his Cartoon Network counterpart goes up next to him. Dexter is basically Phineas, but 10 years older and with a Russian accent. That's what he is. And you cannot convince me otherwise. So, Phineas and Jimmy Neutron, who I thought had the worst cars, will score, and then Blossom, who I thought had a good car, will still not score. Buttercup considerably dominant in that race. Started up near the front and didn't look back, as the two slowest cars were her only competition. Trying to switch that stuff up. I never really messed with the time of race start, and if I do anything with the weather, I usually select it before the races. But I kind of rushed out this track list, so I didn't really put much into that, like I did in the previous act, where it was kind of a random weather setting. As we load into what has historically been proven as one of the more boring races to watch. Usually there aren't too many places to pass here. Turn 1, the AI kind of have a hard time finishing the move unless their cars are that much faster. What's that tiny little door there, by the way? Well, the starting grids are not helping Blossom in any respect either, starting her in 13th and putting her sister on the front row. Look at that tiny little door! How do you even fit in there? And suddenly Ralph, who's already passed like 5 cars. Okay, 3, but before by turn 1, that's a lot of cars to have passed. Bubbles gave Doofenshmirtz plenty of room and he still ends up almost in the grass. Alright. Okay, well, we'll see you later, Isabella. Okay, that doesn't mean do that. I mean, I can kind of see why canonically it makes sense for Isabella to try and wreck Doofenshmirtz. Although I'm pretty sure they were supposed to have forgotten the events of the movie. But, you know, he hasn't really antagonized the characters directly in any way since then. Other than Perry the Platypus, who... if it isn't obvious, he's not here because he can't drive. Even though he has actually driven his little tiny hover car in the show plenty of times, but that's very different from the cars here. I'm sure Blossom would be too upset about a free position. She seems to need all the help that she can possibly get. So Bubbles gets 131 down the front straight away. But Dexter gets like 140. Maybe it's both, because I know Bubbles got some points. That might have been down to where they started, though. They were kind of bottom half in testing as far as like lap times went, but like at some point Blossom has to get some amount of luck, right? I mean, come on, Phineas scored, and he has like the worst car by far. He can barely get even to like 130 because fifth gear is so unbearably long in this car. I mean, yeah, Timmy was in the wreck with Samurai Jack, and he's already back on his tail. And Blossom's, of course, already been passed by Lilo and Stitch again. And points leader is in a minor tussle with a couple of cars for further advancement into the positions. Ferb is right on top of SpongeBob. The Ferrari has... well, of course the Ferrari is faster, but once we get to a turn, Ferb will be right back there. I guess now we'll maybe see the power difference between these two cars, though Vanellope had like the worst run out of the final turn. And is still catching 137 for the older Porsche. It's like 10 more almost than what Bubbles gets. And she gets around Bubbles, pretty sure. Lilo and Stitch are the fastest drivers. Lilo and Stitch are the fastest car, and that isn't there a way to even make that grammatically correct? Lilo and Stitch are the fastest car. Or Lilo and Stitch is the fastest car. Am the fastest car? I think it is, but I don't know. We're now about to have a three-way battle for the lead. Possibly four. Bubbles is not too far from it. But I don't think she's close enough to really be a part of it yet. Maybe if it persists a bit longer, Bubbles will get up there and become part of it, but... And then she also has to try and hope that this stays behind her. Her sister and the two only, well, villains, as it were, of the race. That's what this one I could have probably done. I probably put so much emphasis on variety of characters. I didn't put much emphasis on variety of archetypes. It doesn't seem like we'll get to a three-way fight at any point in this round. Or four-way. It already is three. What in the world? We're on the outside in the braking zone? They didn't even get to the corner yet. My god. Just caught him sleeping there, I think. Oh my god, to give him like an entire field of road to use. Of course he's gonna go around you when you give him that much space. But you know the joke? It's free real estate, Penelope. Now Bubbles is kind of a part of it. I think only just by way of they've been trying to kill each other, pretty much. Despite being stuck in the crash, Isabella is actually about to catch the lead group, about to catch like the main group of 7 at the current rate. My controller is dead. That was something I forgot about. Forgot I was like going low during the league race I did earlier. And also uploaded earlier. Ralph going for it again. It didn't really work before. It's worked a little better this time. Let's see if we can make it around the outside though, which I kind of doubt. Buttercup's car is really good handling. At least compared to this one. But when Buttercup does that, it becomes a bit easier. Nope. Still can't do it. And we return to the front group here. Bubbles has fallen out of it again. And Ferb tried to go off the track completely to make that work, and that's basically just opened the door for Penelope to just yoink that. Ralph still could not get it done down the long straightaway, probably because Buttercup finally got gears on him. Now it's really a fight, and Doofenshmirtz is slowly creeping into it, as well as Bubbles. This is a sight to behold, and it's probably Ferb somehow took the lead. I didn't even notice that in the distance. This one must have really messed up the inner loop section. Bubbles looking to try and finesse a podium, but you don't really need to brake that much for that. Doofenshmirtz will just say hello, thank you, I think. No, Doofenshmirtz kind of ran a awkward line, so no, he does it. And Racket Ralph finally gets around Buttercup at the same time her sister gets passed by somebody else. Buttercup maybe issue a challenge down the long straightaways, I don't know. But will that even matter? Because Ralph might even just pass Bubbles and get a buffer before then. Don't think so, though. Bubbles should be able to, but, I mean, They should have been able to do a lot of things by now, but the ones in the Porsches have been pretty useless. And also just completely blocking Sister from trying to get 6th. I'm sure Buttercup is real happy about. Just sits in the middle of the road. After finally breaking away from the sponge, Ferb will take victory. Penelope almost took 2nd. And Bubbles almost had a podium, but a lot of almosts in this race as Blossom aggressively moves around Timmy Turner. I don't know what took place to where she was in a place to even try and pass him. I'm kind of curious. That's a lot of damage. Timmy has to have hit something. Oh, didn't want that. So he's been passed by Samurai Jack. He probably does something either... He probably runs into Jimmy Neutron after this turn here, doesn't he? Or at some point. Ironic given the fact that this isn't really the first time these two have crossed over. Even I know that, and I didn't watch that much Nickelodeon. And Blossom actually initiates, pushes Timmy into a lane he didn't really want. Timmy actually defending from her, but yeah, you don't want to hit that, and that's what gave Blossom that place. And then these two Warbirds are the last ones to cross the line. Yeah, Isabella, I'm not at all hesitant to say that you got everything you deserve there. Well, the Porsche girls are not going to be doing... The Power Porsche girls, I guess, aren't going to be doing too well here in Classic Monza. You can also change the track surface, which I guess would make the AI drive slower, I guess. There's one thing I know from this track. It can either go really well with close racing and even a few wrecks in there, as we've seen in the past, like so fast, sending so fast into a roll in the grass inside of turn 1. And I think it was like a 3-way crash once that took XC3 out of the race when he was fighting for a championship in like Act 10 or something. I don't know, it's easier for you to look through the videos than for me, plus you seem to have a better memory of my own content than I do, so you could probably remind me of it if there were any other big crashes here. And then we've also had really boring races where people just don't feel like trying to pass each other. And I guess that kind of goes for any track, but it seems like it's more common like here than it is at some other places. It's like the AI know that trying to pass here can sometimes just end in your own death. Again, also applies to any track, but it just seems like it especially applies to here. Dramatic pan over camera. They really like putting the slow cars on the front of the grid, aren't they? Jimmy Neutron gets another pole position. Take your sweet time, guys. My goodness. Oh my god. Well, it's because of Phineas, that's what it is. His acceleration is as bad as the rest of his attributes in that car. Now, if you're smart, Blossom, you don't fight that. At least she retains her intelligence, if nothing else. critically stays away from the green stuff, which some cars ahead of her have not been so good at doing. Buttercup is leading once again. And if she wins the championship, which is not looking terribly unlikely right now, it wouldn't even be the first time in Universe Zero. I think she won in like Act 6 or 8. No, not 6. It had to have been 8. She wasn't even in 6. I think she was introduced in 8. 8 or 7. I don't remember exactly when it was, but she's won a championship before. Penelope is partially in the grass. I don't think she needs to use that much track to get around Phineas. Oh my god, ahead of her looks chaotic. SpongeBob is about to pass Jimmy. Blossom's already lost 4 positions. It'll probably be a net loss of 3 because, well, I'd hope that you can pass Jimmy Neutron in that car that he's in, but I've been wrong before, so... We have the good old Kunta. Nope, that's the RX-7 of Dexter. Blossom defends from the other kind of a smart girl. And does pass Jimmy Neutron. All of the smart ones are directly in front of us on the screen here. As I say that, Jimmy goes right into the grass. Oh my word. Doofenshmirtz has had a few problems. I'd like to see what was the... I would like to be informed of the cause of that problem. Hello? Oh, I was already on him, I just didn't. Go up to the end here. Let's see what happened. Oh yeah, that's totally Doofenshmirtz's problem. Lilo also went in there. But in trying to react to what Lilo was doing, SpongeBob was, well... Or Doofenshmirtz was actually slowing down to return to the track and not run into Lilo, and SpongeBob was having none of it. Doofenshmirtz, you were not ready. Not ready. Not ready. Does he keep driving, though? Well, first of all, he has to get out of the way of these 4, which... yeah. I don't know if he bothered from here. Lilo got off pretty well. SpongeBob also with very minimum damage. Dexter got a huge bonus there. As did Blossom, got some apparently much needed assistance when it comes to position, and Penelope gained 3 spots from that. So, yeah, we've had an interesting race here so far. Samurai Jack has relieved Buttercup of the lead and is escaping with all of that power in his Supra. Supra sounds like a lot of Supra. All of the references. Sounds like a lot of fruit Supra. Brick. Gee whiz. I don't know who is more hesitant there. Blossom or Isabella. They both just kind of questioned whether or not they wanted to make the turn. Like, you have to turn at some point, or you're just gonna end up in the grass, you fools. Doofenshmirtz did not continue. I definitely didn't click on that. Yeah, he just kind of gave up after that. I don't know if I blame him. Penelope with the incredible top speed advantage. See, Blossom, I think, with the Cayman and Boxster's problems are, that does not lie in the top speed or the cornering of the car. Those are pretty well balanced in those regards. It's actually the lack of acceleration that they have. It is something of a heavier car, weighing almost 1,400 kilograms, if I remember correctly. Compare that to the about 1,100 of Penelope and the, I think, 1,220 of Isabella's car. Yeah, it's going to take a little longer to move off that weight, even if you have 400 horsepower compared to the 370 of this. And when Penelope is doing that, it becomes a little easier to stay in the position you're in. Now this is a battle right here. Dexter is creating much fire. And that's about as easy as you want it. Lilo taking advantage of Ralph's short gear ratios to claim the podium position behind Buttercup and Samurai Jack, but I don't think the time is economical enough to pass 2 more. Penelope has cleared Blossom. She will move on to probably not catch SpongeBob in time. She is running faster laps, but if this were a 7-lap race, I would say probably in time, but it's 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I don't think Penelope will get any higher than 7th here. Nor do I really think that Isabella's gonna get to Blossom either, so she will finally score something. As Ferb assaults the position of Timmy. That was very brave braking, and yet Timmy was the one who locked up. So that's the difference in their cars. Timmy's car does not have the most powerful brakes. Unlike the AI driving the Countach, the AI of the E30 is smart enough to actually be light on the brakes to not lock them in the first place. Penelope isn't shaking Blossom super quickly. They're about the same top speed. Okay, never mind, there's another gear there, so in theory the Cayman's faster in a straight line, but the old Carrera has it in every other sense. Ralph and Dexter are now about to battle, but I think that battle's already over, because Dexter gets over 160. And there's no 5th gear in this one. Ralph ain't getting much higher. It's not even so much short gear ratios, it's actually, they're pretty long gears. There's only 4 of them, is Ralph's problem. Ugh. Man alive. There's where Phineas is, and Samurai Jack is only a corner away from lapping him, technically. If this race were 7 laps, I wouldn't be surprised if Samurai Jack actually lapped Phineas. This Porsche is a 5-speed, so yeah, 160 is the exact cap of this vehicle. Samurai Jack will win, but more critically, Buttercup takes 2nd place. Lilo will take 3rd, and more also critically, Ralph takes 5th, which, given how his car performs, that's not bad. Penelope, the other main championship rival, Buttercup, only takes 7th, so Buttercup even further extends her advantage at the front of the championship table. Timmy, disappointing not in the points, but with that car's top speed, I don't really think that's too shocking. Although I don't think she really had the speed to keep up anyway, but Bubbles so far behind due to being stuck on Doofenshmirtz's spinning vehicle. And I think if we sat here much longer, we would honestly see Samurai Jack lap Phineas. So let's just spare him the embarrassment and get on out of here. So, while technically speaking, Buttercup is kind of dominating right now, it's not by nearly as much as 16 Angels. 16 compared to, like, I think it was 30 at this point in the championship in Act 14. I said 16, I meant 14. I can math, I just said the wrong number. So still, the top 5 are I can math. The top 3 are within 1 race points if Buttercup doesn't score. Ralph or Vanellope wins and we have a new leader. Everyone has now scored. And Blossom and Phineas, the ambitious redhead types, are both tied for last. And next episode we will have these 3. So we have one that basically always delivers at least 1 crash, one that usually delivers a couple of decent fights, and a track that's basically boring, and I don't know why I put it on here again, other than because I kind of have to use it every once in a while.